girls, grab your beers.
Hey everybody, this is Charlie from Anthrax, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now here's your host.
I am Monty Heath, so one Heath, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
Hey, what's up? It's John from Skillet, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle on Domain Cleveland Radio.
Fasten your seatbelts.
Sonic Temple Art and Music Festival returns to historic Cruise Stadium. Slipknot, Disturbed, Pantera, The Original Misfits, Evanescence, Limp Bizkit, Judas Priest, Stain, Breaking Benjamin, A Day to Remember, Falling in Reverse, Sleep Token, Rise Again, 311, Seether, Mudvayne, and many more. May 16th through the 19th, Columbus, Ohio. Tickets on sale now at SonicTempleFestival.com.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bill Bailey with today's Boondoggle.
Yeah.
All right.
Give me a B.
You gotta keep changing it up.
All
Yeah,
right.
keep
Give me
changing it
a
up.
B. Give me a Boondoggle.
Boop, 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 boop. Joined once again with Flo White and our special guest, Cleveland Marko.
Yeah.
Returning from just the last episode, since last time you guys were here, we were talking about detoxing our homes and, which would help us live healthier lives. Cleveland Marko's expertise is in that. He has a book, Fix Your Toxic Home and Fix Your
Fix
Life.
your home and fix your life.
It's on Audible now.
Yeah, on Audible.
It's on Audible.
Are you reading it?
No, I wish that I should have done it.
What'd you get that
Got
computer
Morgan
voice?
Freeman?
in?
No. I had to pay some guy.
You got Morgan Freeman?
Yeah. Oh, that would be great.
I know.
But yeah, it's on Audible. It's on Barnes and Amazon.
Nice.
Fix
nice.
your toxic
Who was
home
the guy
and
that
live
used to do
longer.
the Aflac commercials? What if you got that guy?
Mold in your home.
Who's,
Who was that guy?
who's the one dude that did like the movie stuff, like In a World?
The voice. That was Darth Vader's voice.
Yeah.
Somebody's
Wasn't it?
voice
J.
there
Girl Joe?
expensive.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
bet.
know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean,
In a home that's toxic.
Yeah.
the minimums like
Cleveland
Marko
Marko
guy $50
stood
an
alone.
hour up to 400.
Oh yeah. I bet.
And it goes by your book. Like this is a 10-hour book.
Yeah.
So they would, because they figure how many words are in there, and then they calculate that out, and then you do auditions. You pick people. Some people are good, some voices are good for this, some are good for that,
Yeah. Tell us about that video that I was watching this morning that I saw on here that you got featured on Cleveland. Now, if I'm on Facebook and I want to find you, how do I do that, Marko?
Oh, Facebook, just Marko, M-A-R-K-O.
It's not Marko Cleveland or.
Oh, no, you actually, if you Google Cleveland Marko, M-A-R-K-O, man,
Okay.
it just comes up.
Yeah. So, all right. So, if they went to a website or if they went to your Facebook page, they could see that video you did this morning with that realtor fella.
Oh, yeah, that was.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that was a video that it was done by Howard Hanna. It's an office in Howard Hanna.
Oh, you got to be kidding me! That was Howard Hanna.
That was their office, sure.
Oh, that wasn't Mr. That wasn't.
No. That was
okay. Is there a the Howard Hanna?
Yeah, there is.
Oh, there is.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
And not to be confused with the Howard Johnson.
No, it was Michael Dellavella, and he's huge. He's got like 30 agents. Yeah, he's huge. He's he's the biggest agent on the West Side.
Yeah, you were telling me, yeah.
And so he basically he has a podcast as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just.
What does he talk about? Homes and stuff.
All kinds of stuff. Mortgages. I mean, really good stuff for people in the
babies,
business.
mamas, and stuff. Yeah.
So he had me get in about toxic homes.
Yeah.
And we talked about that, and kind of like what we did last time here. We didn't cover everything.
No.
That's kind of why we wanted to wrap around and bring you back. But wanted to touch real quick too, and what some of us have been doing since then. To try and take some of your advice to start detoxing our homes and Florence here. You've been really.
Well, the reason I bring it up is I was trying to watch it this morning. The volumes on it weren't that high, so I couldn't listen to it on my little boombox. So I wanted to get some hours in downstairs because I've been cleaning the house after Marko inspected it. I've been getting my house ready for my brother to move in, and he has some immune system issues, and mold was my biggest concern. But after Marko come over, he said mold's really not your big deal. It's the dust.
Yeah.
And I had been there for 23 years, and there were parts of the house that I don't think I had touched in like 15, 20, 23 years.
Yeah.
You know, and
so my girlfriend would say about my room sometimes.
Yeah, so I was doing I've been working on it all week. I mean, I started upstairs in the attic. I ripped out, my friend's been coming over. We've been doing about 4 hours a day. Brian's been coming over, and
we gotta get him back.
Yeah, and we've we ripped out the attic carpet. We washed everything down. That was like a 2-day job. And then we started on the basement, and so I'm about 80% done with the basement. And then once the basement's done, I'm gonna get in touch with your buddy Sean that does air ducts. Really affordable. I expected it to be about $1,200. It's only going to be about like maybe at the most with tax. I might get an extra filter thing. He talked about like having this like electrostatic filter over it, and I'd have to change the filters on it. He was talking about that, but if I did everything, it would probably, with the filters, all the bells and whistles, it would probably come out to about, with tax, probably like $750, $800. But it was initially just him cleaning it out like he normally does, because I have about a 1,500 square foot house. And so I've got 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got like 6 blowers throughout the house, and 2 down shoots returns. So he charges per opening, Okay. So it was like $50 per opening. So
he's a good guy. He's got good equipment. You gotta be careful. A lot of people just hire duct cleaners.
Oh yeah. In the magazines they have the I've had them, and it's just like, I'm like, that's all.
They can actually damage your house if they're not doing it properly.
It's like almost like they just bring in an industrial.
Well, tell us why Sean is different, because he explained it to me. He creates like a closed loop system.
Yeah. Well, first of all,
the dust can't escape.
Well, first of all, the dust is a big thing. A lot of people, they want to complain and
that's why I've been so
making me sick.
Right.
They want to blame something, right?
Right.
And here you go in their homes and they get a lot of dust, a lot of stuff, and a lot of surface area picks up dust. And what they don't understand is, like, if you have carpets, okay, and you walk by a carpet, you actually create a plume, okay. So if you have little children,
they're crawling.
Well, no, they're
at a low level,
3 feet. And so,
you're walking around, you're taking a 2-foot dust storm, and they're right in the center of it.
Looking like Pigpen from Charlie Brown.
Right.
Well, I mean, we have a very huge asthma problem with children. And, it's because the other thing is a lot of pets are in the home, too.
Yeah.
And so the pets will drool and the dust and all that.
Yeah.
And it gets kicked up. And then all that gets into these little kids. They breathe a lot more air, and it damages their lungs quicker as they're trying to develop.
Right.
Big problem. I mean, and so dust is huge, and then you got kind of different kind of dust. You have breakdown of dust from carpet padding, old carpets with the padding, it breaks down, and that comes up through. You have dust that comes in from the outside. If you live near a lime plant or a construction site, they're doing construction across the street, that dust is coming in, and so dust comes in. You create dust. If you have high humidity and you got pets and carpets, crawl spaces that are wet, now all of a sudden the dust mites are amplifying, and they creating, their little fecal pellets, which break into micro particles, and you're breathing that, and then your skin, every time you move your body, the skin
dust flies off.
Yeah, and so you've got all this going on, and so you have to look at the whole big picture. You got to first you want to. I'm not saying organize everything in boxes. A lot of people, they have stuff.
Well, you said that I was an open store guy.
Open storage.
Open storage.
Okay.
And I've been using that term.
It's a good word. It's a
good word. It is. Yeah. You're an open storage. Yeah. And that is
open storage is that you're actually, it looks like chaos, to people with
Yeah.
that have like compulsive disorders of cleaning and all those kind of people.
Yeah.
But really, you know where everything's at.
Yeah.
Your wrenches are over there. You know where.
Is it a sign of a brilliant mind?
No. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
But here's the problem with open storage. The
Sign
problem
of a
with
hoarder.
open storage is a lot of surface area.
Yeah.
And the more surface area you have,
The more dust
and you
accumulation.
can't clean the dust. So
Right.
if you could have open storage in areas where you could micro swift
Yeah.
the floors, or you could get rid of the carpets, like you're getting rid of your carpets, you have
Yeah.
to. Those carpets are kind of old.
Yeah.
Now you can control the dust, and you've got those air cleaners. All that helps.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
This whole place used to be carpeted, and now the only area that's carpeted still is my bedroom, which is probably part of my problem, and the stairs and the hallway going up the stairs. Everything else has been, we've got like everything else is like this, like the wood laminate or
Right.
You
whatever.
want to be
Flooring,
able,
because my dog sheds like crazy.
well. That's
Love him to death, but
Yeah.
it's easier
he's a
to clean
thick-haired
it up
dog,
when it's
yeah.
on a flat
you can
surface.
see it,
Yeah.
but if you've got stuff
Like a whole
everywhere,
nother
you
dog.
can't.
And it's going behind crevices and.
Oh, yeah.
That's the whole thing. I mean, it's like I literally went with a fine tooth comb through, like, in my dining room where I had all the books and everything and all that pile of stuff in my
I
dining
got a
room by
floor
the
guy
fridge.
too if you're looking for somebody.
Well, I ended up, all
Oh,
that has
that's
been
yours.
cleared out. All the shelves have been wiped down. All the books were wiped down. If I would vacuum it first,
Oh,
I would take a book and I would vacuum where the top of it was, or like the edges that had the dust balls on it.
Well, your vacuum has to be. Another problem is people's vacuum cleaners. They use a vacuum like a shop vac. Don't ever
Yeah.
bring a shop vac in the house because it doesn't do anything.
Right.
All you do is aerosolizing the dust.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
You're just moving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's picking up the big stuff, which is going to fall quick to the ground anyways, but then it's not going to do nothing with the small stuff. So you're going to
Right.
make yourself sick.
Well, don't they have filters for it?
Well,
Sean was saying you go get the HEPA filters.
You want to
in
get
it.
a high efficient particle
Yeah.
HEPA filter.
The blue ones.
Yeah. I mean, a lot
The
of those-
blue rimmed one.
there's a couple.
Yeah.
Whatever gets off
Yeah,
the
sorry.
particulate,
Yeah.
And they use the water.
But you're right. A lot of people don't use with shop vacs. They don't use a filter,
No.
and even the filter that you get with it maybe ain't shit.
And then they're using
Yeah.
the garage.
Yeah,
So
right.
it's got like paint thinners and lacquers and VLC.
Yeah.
It's got all that in there. And then you bring it in your house.
Yeah.
It's so no. You got to be smart if you're going to vacuum. Make sure your vacuum, is high HEPA is the fancy word, high
Yeah.
efficient particulate air. There's other ones too. The Dice has got the little water things. Those all work good too. You just have the good vacuum cleaner. And then as far as also cleaning, you want to make sure your airflows are good. You don't want to have too much, negative pressure, things like that. We could talk about that, on that gets into radon and all that. But the dust is huge. So people they live in these dust plumes.
Oh, I've been
Yeah.
living in
What?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and myself included. Like you said, since we kind of started, when you start the process of trying to correct it, though, that you're still kicking it up regardless. So it's like you're gonna have to go through that.
Well, even in the basement, like
detoxifying.
once we would get one area at a time. I would throw things away. I would keep things we'd keep. We'd wipe them off. But once we got that area moved out of the way, everything out of the way, we would mop it 3 times with bleach. Then we wipe everything down, like the washer and dryers. We put them back in place, and we move to another surface area. And this whole time, I continue to go back over the old spaces with the vacuum. Sometimes hit it with the mop. I've been really
You have
meticulous.
several pounds of dust.
You think I've accumulated? Yeah.
Oh, at most houses have 4, 5, 10 pounds of dust. They don't even know.
Yeah.
And you just have to clean it up. And I was gonna say every dust is different. So your dust is like a fingerprint. It's a DNA of your house. So if you had a cat, that dust is completely different than if you had a dog, or if you lived near the railroad tracks. Okay, sometimes you get drift from trains and stuff. So
Well, what blew me away, speaking of which, is you were describing to your friend how you and your wife went on some trip, and the pig farmers out in Arizona would shoot the urine up in the air at night and aerosol it, and you were downwind of it several times, almost threw up, and then
urine?
listen to that.
yeah.
Listen to
Go ahead.
You
Tell the story.
can't. If you try to
That
Google,
blew my
what'll
mind,
blow your
man.
mind even more.
Yeah.
Is if you try to Google this stuff, they censor this.
Oh, I
stuff. You
bet.
can't even find this stuff.
I mean, could you imagine all that? That's dangerous. You're putting up DNA in the. You never know what could be in that urine, dude. You're aerosolizing
Here's the thing,
viruses.
they have these big lakes.
Listen to
This
this.
is serious. They have
This
these
is
lakes.
yes, right.
Lakes as big as your street.
Right.
full of urine and byproducts for pigs and animal farming. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and they always go in areas where there's like
Nobody's
all the
around.
Indian reservations, you know,
Yeah.
wherever there's like lower income. I don't want to say that word, but where the people won't complain as
Yeah.
much, and they
Yeah.
put those farms
They have
there.
no voice.
And guess how they get rid of they at night? They have these ejector pumps, and they shoot the stuff up 200 to 500 feet in the air. And if it's a windy day, they're lucky because it just takes it downstream. So I'm going to Phoenix because I'm gonna go into these abandoned places. I was gonna check out this abandoned.
Well, that was one of your hobbies back in. You
Yeah.
still do that. That's when I first met you. You were really into like he was an urban explorer.
that break
Yeah.
places out.
And I remember he was like he had this long leather trench coat.
They lied to
Cool,
you.
man. He was like all punked out.
The
This is when I met him like what, 15, 20 years ago? How long
No,
we
I've been doing it for
Yeah.
since I lose the weight, I'm gonna go back. But so anyway,
Get your jacket back on.
so I'm not at border. I'm on the Mexican. I'm on the Mexican Arizona
My
border.
hair quits flying around.
Listen to this. You're driving by, and all of a sudden you smell this.
Yeah,
You're
this is
like,
the pig urine
Like,
again.
my
Yeah.
buddy was driving. John was driving.
Yeah.
He almost puked.
Yeah.
I
Oh
would
my
have.
God, it was so bad. And then for 10, 20 miles of it. And now saying, oh, we could breathe.
10, 20 miles.
And then all of a sudden, then like 20 more miles later, oh, there it is again. And this
Because
went
there's
on
another farm.
because
there were farms
every
and shit,
50
yeah.
miles along the whole
Wow, man.
And
Where
that
was
was-
this again?
This
Way out
it
now,
was
probably
at
on
the
Route
border of
10 or
Arizona-
something. Yeah.
Arizona, Mexico.
No,
Yeah, it had to be Route 10 then.
The wall
somewhere.
we saw some of the wall.
Oh, okay.
So was this happening in Mexico or in America?
In America,
Yeah.
in Arizona.
So they're shooting it over to the Mexican side.
So we get
One of the motherfuckers are coming over to the side.
dude, we get to I don't Phoenix or somewhere in the morning, and we get out. We're like, oh, we were sick just from driving through that stuff.
Wow.
And we go to the car, and our fingers were sticking to the freaking car. Like,
No
it was
shit.
sticky.
Yeah. The car was
Oh my
jizzed on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh.
And we had tens of thousands of people.
Oh my God.
South Carolina.
And if it's sticking to the car, it's
When the
sticking to their
floods,
lungs.
yeah.
Oh, all those people
Yeah.
are sick
Oh,
as
shit,
They went
breathing that.
millions and millions of dollars for
Yeah.
lawsuits in South Carolina.
Oh
Big
my
farms.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to live nowhere near these things.
Oh my
How
God.
do you get on pig farms and
Well,
injecting?
that's like it
urine-
reminds me of
fertilizer in
Ricky's
urine?
dad from Trailer Park Boys when he pitched the bottles of piss from the truck.
Yeah.
You know, but
There's so much stuff they don't tell you.
Well, I mean, then think of when I ripped up that rug, because like I remember telling you, like he comes over my house and he does this 40-minute, critique of everything, and he's doing some of his video stuff and everything, and we come downstairs, he finishes up, he's wrapping up, and then I tell him that like, well, my brother's bringing a cat, and he's like, what the, what is he? Why? You
I
almost
wonder why his immune system.
Yeah. You almost peeled out of the
Probably
driveway.
cat.
Oh.
But here's the thing: when we ripped up the rug, Brian was like, "Neil, you see that? You could see the discoloration. You could see the crystallization too.
Yeah,
you could see if you looked at sun was coming in, and if you looked at it at a certain angle, it was glistening. Like gold, copper, bronze, glistening.
And the male cat.
And well, that's what he said. He said, that cat's gonna come here. He's gonna smell. He's gonna piss all over this.
Well, the male cats pee on walls and stuff.
Yeah, to mark.
And then it comes through the paint.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
And like
So
it ruins. It gets into.
We
the
used to have a
concrete.
male cat, and it wasn't. I was deployed, so it's like I kind of didn't have a choice. Our neighbor's cat had kittens, and I call home, and my daughters are like, "Oh, Daddy, can we have one of the cats?" I'm like, "Sure, you guys are taking
This is
care
where
of
we
it. I
start
want nothing to take care of."
Shitting on cats.
But yeah. This is my
Can I
shit
talk
on
about
cat.
toxoplasma?
I want to talk
anyway,
about
hold
cats.
on,
Too.
let
I
me
got a good
finish this.
story about
Let me finish
cats.
this. So,
Okay, go ahead.
So fucking finally, of course, years going by, I'm taking care of this motherfucking cat. I gotta clean the litter box, and I'm just like I'm like over it, Well, he starts getting older, it's like I got Brutus. It's like that's my boy, that's my dude, my dog. I'm like, you girls got to take care of his cat. He's getting older. He's not doing well. And there came a time where at the bottom of my stairs upstairs, he found a spot and he'd always piss there. So that's when I finally we ripped up all the carpeting, and I did the floor. We ripped up the carpet at the bottom of my stairs. It's like this, But I mean, underneath it was just like into the wood. And you had to bleach it. We had to you pull up the what's the foam between the carpet and all that stuff. It was just the padding, all that stuff. It was like it was horrible. And then finally,
I got the next cat story. And then
finally,
finally,
the cat got too old and couldn't be taken care of in the the veterinarian.
Can I get the next cat story?
So you got to.
So,
when I was living,
did you clean it up then? Was it?
We cleaned it up. We bleached. We did whatever,
Did it
and
go
then
away?
we put in the new flooring. Yeah,
Okay.
for the most part.
It's hard.
Yeah.
when I lived on 31st, I had a roommate.
I'll never do a cat again.
My roommate moved in, and he wanted a cat, and I didn't really give a shit about the cat, and oh my god, this damn cat! I'm
We're
thinking
gonna
more
get canceled
things.
by the cat people.
No. So, anyways, the landlord in my house, I lived in the front house.
That's why we're dog men.
I lived upstairs, and then in the back there was a back house. It was one of those lots where there was a front house and a back house. There was 2 units in the back house, 2 units in the front. I lived upstairs. So the landlord always had this old Winnebago parked in the back. One day I was going to work and I kept hearing this meowing, and it turned out there was a Snow White cat in that old Winnebago. And I went upstairs right before work and I told my roommate, I said, "Hey, you've been wanting this cat. Well, there's a beautiful white cat. It's stuck in that Winnebago. And I guess if you can get it out of there, you can keep it if you want, Well, that was the worst thing I did because he ended up keeping the cat. And then there's so many other dynamics about this cat that happened. But the point is,
it was like feral.
That cat pissed on everything I owned. It would come. I would be sitting there in the living room watching TV, and it would come out of Dave's room, and it would look at me.
Look at you.
Oh,
It would look at me.
he didn't like it.
And then it would go into my room.
No,
yeah,
shit.
and I had the western room. It was cool. You could open the windows, you see the Terminal Tower, right on 31st Street. Kind of had a nice decent view of downtown.
Yeah,
and
he fucking looked at you and Mark.
One day I was riding around. I was riding around. I was a bike messenger. I had, and I'm like, just kept smelling urine, cat urine. It had pissed in my helmet. So, you guys know me. You guys know me. Me with the law and stuff. I was doing this case, and I was doing everything in handwritten stuff because of what old Sam Bell, that federal judge in Akron, told me. He told me once, he says, "I know you didn't do this paperwork." And ever since then, I said, I'm going to do my own paperwork. So I was doing my own paperwork, and I had everything on the table. My girlfriend was there, and I was showing her this. I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. This cat jumped up on the table, looked at me, and pissed on my document.
Oh, my
your document.
And I grabbed that cat. And I like my ex, when she'd get excited and she'd scream, it wasn't high pitched. It was like, oh, it was like this,
like Edith Bunker and shit.
Oh, I threw that cat all the way in the other room. I was so pissed, dude. But that was
That's
my
a
cat
lot
story.
of nerve, man.
Yeah.
Now this story.
Those are my cat stories. And there's a lot more to it.
It was your
The
Constitution.
The cat caused
That's like a fucking liberal cat getting up there and just pissing all over.
That cat caused a lot of problems, man. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say, if I tell this story, there's gonna be a lot of cats getting kicked out after this.
Go ahead. That's what we wanted.
I mean,
we talked about this on the way over here.
After I talk about this,
we weren't gonna shit on dogs. We were gonna shit on cats.
The
shit on cats
will be full of cats.
Yeah,
the coyotes will be fed.
So go ahead. What happened?
All right. Well, first of all, people don't know. You ever
Toxoplasma?
You ever heard of the crazy cat lady? You think that's an accident?
No.
But you ever see men they hang out together and they have cats? Their IQs are lower sometimes. They're not that. I'm gonna explain to you what happens. So now let's talk about the cat. So it starts off with the rat. Okay, and the rat,
they have a synergistic relationship.
Well, no, the
rat has
a parasite.
Yeah.
Called Toxoplasma gondii.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so what happens is it makes the rat like cat urine. So the rat is like looking for the cat urine. The cat's like, what is this stupid rat coming up to me for? Wham! Kills the rat. Now the cat has it. Now the cat has Toxoplasma gondii. These are parasites. It does not affect the cat whatsoever, but it gets on the kitty litter. Ever women that are pregnant, don't touch your kitty litter box. They'll tell you why. You know why? Because they don't want you to know why. Well, if you touch the kitty litter box, you're going to get these parasites. And guess what these parasites do? They go in your brain. No, they go to your brain. And in humans, they live in the brain. Now, most of the time,
in the frontal lobe.
Yes, they live in your brain. They're called Toxoplasma gondii. Now, if you get
how do you get rid of them?
No, hang on. I'll tell you what it does to you. And so if you get toxoplasmosis, that'll kill you. But not everybody gets that. But the Toxoplasma gondii can live in your brain, and they damage your brain, but your brain reproduces. But here's what it does. in females, it makes them promiscuous. So if they have Toxoplasma gondii, the crazy cat lady, she's a lot more promiscuous because that's what happens to females. In males,
Probably get the clap.
in males, it lowers their IQ.
Yeah,
Getting hooked up, you're going.
It lowers your IQ.
So the cat lady not only is promiscuous, she's taking advantage of your dumbness.
Now the men is different. The men that have cats. You ever notice some guys have cats. Sometimes they're not just that. They're not Einsteins. They're not the sharpest tools in the shed. And that's because they have Toxoplasma gondii from all their cats. And not only that, now what it does to both is it lowers your response time by 1/4 of a second. So now you get in a car and you missed it by 1/4 of a second, you get a car accident. So who's making money on cats? Lawyers, right? Insurance companies, divorcing.
Conspiracy.
Yeah. The women are divorcing their men because they're out bouncing around.
We know who they are.
So the women are out there jumping up guys, so they're getting divorced. The men are going broke because they got to pay them money.
Because they're dumb.
It's a business.
Dude, it goes back to ancient Egypt, and they had the cats in the
So Toxoplasma gondii,
cats have been in on it.
How do you get rid of it?
Runs America. It runs America.
The cats.
And so now when people realize that they're going to see their cat, like, that's going to give me Toxoplasma gondii, it's going to make me stupid. Well, make me more promiscuous. That might be okay. But I'm going to get a car accident. Anyways, that's my cat story.
Wow.
Look it up. You know what?
No, I've heard a lot of negative things about
how do you spell that? Toxoplasma.
Toxoplasma gondii.
You never heard about that? But I never heard about it making you dumb. You told me about the cat lady before.
It'll lower your IQ.
Wow.
And so cats.
Now,
Some guy
told me
that cats are like little video camera remotes for aliens. Like an alien can use.
Why did the Egyptians worship cats though? Seriously, on a serious note, why were they always so held in such high regards? Like they were part of the plan. You know, they knew the cats were really running Egypt. You know?
Yeah.
The cats are the ones that built the pyramids.
Promiscuous pharaohs.
Yeah, well, it's like, do you know that we have in America, we have 110 million cats in our homes. We have 120 million
and that's
dogs.
just in one home.
That's almost 220 million cats and dogs.
They almost overpopulate. They do.
We have 330 million.
If you think of all the feral things.
Well, if you want to throw in
there's all sorts of feral things around my house, feral cats. Them cats
there's another 100 million of them out there.
Yeah.
And so people are breeding these things and everyone thinks like, here's another thing about cats and dogs is people don't understand is like when I grew up, we had a dog house. The dogs were outside, you know. Yeah. Now the dogs moved in and we sleep with the dogs and now they have now you have to have coats and sweaters for your dog.
Yeah.
Now here's a real issue. Here's a real issue. We've gotten rid of our kids. Our children now
are the dogs and cats.
No, the generation, the millennials and Generation Z have dogs and cats. Yeah. They don't have kids.
Right.
Our population is dropping. We're like at 1.7 for population growth right now. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, dogs and cats got a lot to do with it. People have dogs and like in the morning. I live in Lakewood. I tell you what, man, every 10 minutes there's somebody walking their dog up and down the street. There's at least 3 dogs.
China pushed something where they were killing all the dogs. And
well, they just eat dogs, but they have a dog festival every year where they eat dog.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of people. The more,
really
but
I mean, I thought they were
the more affluent people have dogs as pets.
Like even during COVID, I thought they were making people kill their animals and shit.
I didn't know that.
Well, I know that pets. Kim Jong-un, he won't allow pets. He thinks that's a Western thing, selfish Western thing.
Yeah, or maybe he knows about Toxoplasma gondii.
Yeah.
Well, think about all the cats and dogs that are now in these kids' homes, and you wonder why they're all sick. They're all on medication. I'm not saying you're living in a barn. I mean,
the manger.
Why do you think there was a barn and then a house?
Yeah.
And then there was an outhouse because you go shit outside. The animals are in their own house. You got your house. They put all that together in one house now.
Yeah.
And then they made it tight and locked it up.
Right.
And then they made us stay in our houses because. Remember that COVID thing?
Yeah. Put up the towers.
Oh man, we're living with, and there's no their oxygen levels are lower, the carbon dioxide levels are high, the moisture levels are going up. We're creating we're cooking more, so we're getting kind of safe on the windows, and then it's getting in the carpets, and we're creating dust mites, and we're all getting sick in our homes.
Yeah, you were talking about the Pella windows one time when I came up from the basement. You were talking about they were made in a certain way that had a steel thing, which steel part when the moisture wanted to come into the vacuum, you know, like high pressure is always seeking low pressure and vice versa. The vapor barrier would occur, and I guess water would build up in the windows, and it would rot out the windows.
Yeah, it was first of all, Anderson came out with They came out with a vinyl clad window, and that had its own.
That was surrounded by vinyl. It was all vinyl, right?
But then Pella came out with aluminum clad called Pella Pro Line. Matter of fact, I believe I started that whole $multi-$100 million lawsuit, because what happened was
there was a lawsuit.
Oh, I started.
That's right. You talked about it, but I didn't. Like I said, I was multitasking, so I was coming up and down.
Oh yeah, that's a big thing.
Okay, so tell us about it.
I bought a bunch of them. Okay, in one of my places.
Pella
Pro Lines, and they were the aluminum clad, and they started rotting out. So I called Pella, hey, what's going on? And they fixed a few of them, and when they fixed it, they destroyed all my trim, not my trim, but all my flashings. Well, anyways, more of them rotted out, and then they wouldn't talk to me for like 4 months because they wanted my warranty to expire, which is 10 years. Then I call them back. They say, "Oh, your warranty expired." I go, "Wait a minute. I have 2 orders of windows."
I've been bitching about this.
And I said, "If you guys don't fix my windows, I'm gonna make a YouTube video." And they're like, so all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, there's like 20 windows in my front yard. They just dropped them off. And I'm like, "What do you mean you're gonna put them in too?" Like, it didn't matter. I made the video. So I made a video, and I said that, and I explained what happens, how they fail. They fail 4 different ways. And
wow.
Oh yeah.
Tell me.
I'll do real quick on the lawsuit. So then it's a Chicago firm calling me up. They're like, "Hey, we want to use you as an expert witness." I'm an expert witness. I do a lot of cases. I do trip and falls, deaths, carbon monoxide poisons, all that. And so like, all right, that's cool. I'll be the expert witness on this case. And then they got all the information.
You're a crisis actor.
They talked to me for hours and got all the information. And then they hired some doctor guy to be the expert. The class action lawsuit started. They started suing. Pella actually shut down a whole area for it. They laid off a ton of people and they quit making those windows.
They were people out of work because of you.
Yeah. Now here's how they fail. What happens is houses were tighter, and they came out in the late like.
What do you mean houses were tighter?
Our houses are tighter today.
Yeah, okay, they wrap houses.
Yeah, higher buffer capacities are they don't hold as much
like Jimmy used to always say, Roby used to always say, your house is a living thing, it breathes.
Yeah, well, it doesn't with the windows. So here's what happens. Now watch this. So we're all in a house, we're all locked in our houses, or we got pets, we got humidifiers, we got ventless heaters, we're cooking, and also this moisture's got to go somewhere. It's called high vapor pressure, and wants to go to low vapor pressure. So it goes through wood, it goes through everything, but when it hits a vapor barrier, which is plastic or metal, so it goes through the wood and hits the metal. It's cold outside. It's winter, right? It forms a dew point and it breaks the bond, the glue bond. Now when it rains, the water hits the window, goes down and rots out the window. That was one of the main ways. And then there's some pilt issues. Well, we're not gonna get into all the engineering, how these windows fail. But that was the Pella Pro Line lawsuits. And until today, I have windows and my upper decks that are about to fall out. And they're only like 25 years old. Well, maybe a little around that. Windows should last 50 years.
Yeah.
You know? And so
they don't build it stuff to last that long anymore because that's how business stays.
I was never the expert.
Yeah.
I was so pissed.
Yeah.
But anyways, so these videos started. So people would text me back, and they're like, "Oh man, you saved me. I had $250,000 worth of Windows order for Pella. I canceled my order." Builders would say, "Oh." They're like, "Oh man, thank you for that video." And they're like, my developments quit using them. We went to Anderson. And this went on for a decade. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm still here. I thought it
Pella Hitman.
I should have been hit by Pella. But you know what? They screwed me. They screwed millions of people.
Yeah.
And you know what? It is what it is. Now their windows, they're better. Wait, they're better.
Now it's out there on the Today's Boondoggle podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll get it right here. I'm right here on Boondoggle, baby.
Expose.
Boondoggle, baby.
People hide them. They hide
what, the windows?
Oh, they're rotted, right? There's nothing behind them. So they take caulk and they caulk it and they paint it and they sell the house. And the home inspectors miss this stuff. And they got to replace all the windows. You got $30,000 with the windows. So they're still out there. They're still rotten. You know, it's hopefully
Now, I wanted to talk, a little bit more about, to help pitch your services and what you do, what some of the things we've been taking in, and you met, dust was one of the big topics we were going to hit, what cats and cat litter in the homes can do. What else is something that affects our health that is an easy fix if we can get on?
Okay.
Oh yeah, we're going to get into the water for sure.
Can I ask you a question though? If I have on old wood, when we ripped it up, I've got the urine from the cat. How would you clean it?
You first clean it. You might have to just seal it with like
my friends like
Yeah,
hydrogen peroxide. My friends like hydrogen peroxide
and after you do all that, then
and
you
baking
you still got to seal it.
Then you still got to seal
we
it.
bleached, we did all that stuff, and then we sealed it with the weather.
Do you think that cat is still going to go up there? Yeah, kills.
Yeah,
just get rid of the cat. Oh,
yeah, that's gonna be par for your brother.
Yeah.
Well, what if you leave the door open one day? He doesn't know.
And then he's gonna look at you and go in your bedroom.
There's a video record of what we're talking about.
I have a kid that has a cat. I have a kid with a cat.
Yeah.
And like I'll be sitting home and I'll just be working on my book or something. So, pew! And I go, my kid came to visit me because she brings her cat with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These kids bring their cats with them. And I went to my buddy asked me, he's a young guy. They bring their dogs to bars now.
Sure.
And their cats, they're bars with their dogs and cats and their purses. These people, it's crazy. It's insane. It really is insane.
Yeah.
And so I would say no to the cat. It's your house.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, a lot of people get sick from cats.
Or his rent's gonna have to adjust or something, right?
You're gonna get Toxoplasma gondii.
Yeah, and you're brilliant.
And then you won't be able to come and talk to us anymore because you'll be on.
Yeah, he won't be on the. Yeah, he'll be on here drooling and shit. And you're like, what's that? What's that maximum law again?
I'm serious.
Yeah.
Look at people. Look at people with. I hate this. I do a lot of forensic cases. So this lady called me up. She goes, "I'm sick from mold." I'm like, really? All right. And this is a long time ago. I'm going to say 15, 20. So I show up to this house, and back they used to test for mold and all that. And I walk in the house, and I'm just like, oh, man, ammonia. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, oh, get sick. And I go in this room, and I got pictures of this, 20 litter boxes, cat litter boxes. And she's got cats in some cages, some cats running around. There's 20 cats in this house. And then she takes me over to this little room.
Oh, I thought you were going to take you to your bedroom because she's promiscuous.
Yeah, she's promiscuous. That's
like
20 times sex right there.
Yeah, I don't think
20 times the amount of promiscuity.
Yeah, she wasn't.
My IQ may have gone down just talking to her.
Yeah.
And so then she goes to this little place in the corner. It was a northeast corner. She goes, look, the mold's growing there. It's making me sick.
A little place in the corner.
Yeah,
and I look at the lady. I go, this mold, this little bit of mold. And I got my thermal cage. I had thermal imager. I take a picture of it. It was like 4 degrees colder because it was a northeast corner. That's where it's colder.
Yeah.
And she had a humidifier and all the humidity and cat bowls and was causing humidity, which is condensation. And when you get condensation, you get dew point, you get mold, you get fungal amplification. So I go, well, first of all, run a dehumidifier. That'll go away. Number 2, get rid of your 20 cats.
Shit like that.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But I'll tell you what, man, I felt sick when I left there. I mean, you know when it's really bad. It's when the stuff when that odor gets in your nostrils and you can smell it.
Oh,
the next morning you wake up, you took a shower, you can still smell it.
Right.
That's people live like that. These people live in trailers.
Yeah, I mean, I had gotten used to that cat when it was here for so long before it passed on, and I would have friends come over that could just like, man, you don't smell that? It's like because you get used to it.
Yeah, right.
Right.
No, you have to throw out the carpets. You got to clean it up. You got to repaint. I've had cases where it was so bad that
it's going through the vents and everything.
Do you think I should paint that floor upstairs?
No, they had to paint the floors, the concrete floors.
What about upstairs in the attic, the wood floor? I think it's just.
No, I don't know about the attic. I've never.
Didn't what's his face live up in the attic? Is that his old?
Yeah, but the one I bought the house, these women lived there with cats.
Yeah, the air.
Like I ripped all the rugs out except for on the attic.
Up and out. Air goes up and out. Within a crawl space, different story. You got cats that pee in your crawl space, you smell that stuff. But up in the attic, you'd probably be okay.
Yeah.
But Yeah, so that's
You were
we
talking
got back
about-
on cats again.
Yeah, because I had more questions. I got another question about my house. Now, you know, in the
Critical
basement
cat theory.
where I get the most seepage in my eastern wall, where the soil is lower.
Grading,
Yeah, it's like it's the grading is totally okay. Do I have the Statutorus Bactra? Is that that black stuff growing on the wall? Was that Statutorus?
I have a video called "Mold the Truth." We've all been scammed.
What?
Oh yeah, it's got like 800,000 views.
Oh, okay.
I get hate mail from it till today. I get hate mail because these mold people hate me because I put it out there. So, basically, mold is saprophytic. Okay.
What does that mean?
It means it eats itself. It could. It's very so. Like if you had a wet basement like you have, and you put a cardboard box down, it was always wet. That's a cellulose product. Stachybotrys is what you're talking about. It's a slime mold. Penicillium, Aspergillus, Ganoderma. These are slime molds. 95% moisture and greater. They love it. So Stachy, Penicillium, Aspergillus is 78 different types.
I know. I want to touch base on Aspergillus.
So now all of a sudden you run a dehumidifier and you drop the humidity down to 80. All of a sudden they start dying. Oh no! But then guess what? Cladosporium takes over.
What's that?
Another mold.
Is that the white furry mold?
That's there's hundreds of different types of molds, you know, and so it eats those guys. Now you got a new mold, and then you make it completely dry.
Got a new mold.
Yeah, so the molds are that's how you get mycotoxins. People think
are the toxins that come from alcohol is mycotoxins.
Yeah, you know what it is? Mycotoxin.
The waste product.
There's like two molds having a war.
Really?
Yeah. So you got Stachybotrys at a 98. You got Penicillium at a 96. And then you got Aspergillus at 96, right? And they're like fighting, they're having war, they're throwing, and you know they don't have bombs, they have mycotoxins.
Yeah.
Boo, boo, boo. You know, and then all you gotta do is stop the water and they all die. And then Cladosporium goes and eats them all.
Mold wars.
Well, so mold is just a byproduct of
okay,
the
so
moisture problem.
if you get rid of the moisture,
you're done.
Then another type of mold will come in and eat that isn't as bad.
Maybe.
How bad is that?
You get to the point where there won't be any mold.
That's and it'll okay.
You know, and so the mold likes dark places. It likes mediums. Okay.
Let me ask you. I got another question. Atlantic Ultraviolet. I've done a lot of work with them in sterilization of what they make. Some of the best UV lamps. Any professional like over there at Western Reserve, their deionization RO plant. They have huge. I've never seen Atlantic ultraviolet's that big. So we know that ultraviolet light, I think it's the 254 nanometer range is the kill range, right? So, I mean, Atlantic Ultraviolet is just selling these lamps that are just like a normal lamp. You just put it in a room and there's no shade or anything. I know you don't really want to look at UV light that long. I mean, I've looked at it without glasses or whatever, but I was thinking of maybe getting one of those and just putting it, you know, in the back wall sometimes.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If I take a little knife and I cut your arm right here, and then I take a hash and cut your wrist off, are you going to go look for a Band-Aid for your little cut?
No.
Well, that's what we're talking about. Okay, you're looking for the Band-Aid, and you're bleeding profusely.
Well, I thought you said that mold wasn't a big deal. Oh,
it is. You got to stop the water leak.
Okay.
You got to run a dehumidifier. You got to fix your.
Well, I've been running
when your boat's leaking. What do you bail it out or you plug the hole?
Whatever, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the mold's going to die. They're like, okay, here's people. They have lawsuits. Oh, I'm sick from the mold. My fingernails are falling off because the landlord had a roof leak, and then they're outside digging mulch. Which is just millions of mold spores. They're okay with the mulch, but they're not okay with the mold in the house. Yeah. And there's way more outside, more war in the woods. You know, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Some people are sensitized to certain molds, and yes, Aspergillus will kill you if it gets in your
right.
But wait a minute. Who gets Aspergillus? Somebody with a low immune system, someone that's been compromised, someone that has insulin resistance, somebody that's already sick. They got
I got another question. Okay, I've got a close friend of mine who has he's my age, severe lung problems, and it's all related to Aspergillus.
Aspergillus, yeah.
Now, I forget how he got it, so why can't he kick it? Is his immune system?
No, he probably has damage.
He's taking expensive medication.
Yeah. So if you get like pneumonia, like I've had pneumonia a few times, and then I get
this is not medical advice.
We're not
a doctor.
No, I'm not.
You're right.
But I had histoplasmosis. I was in one of these
What's histoplasmosis? Some with the blood, I bet, huh?
Bad. And I was in an abandoned. There's a dog.
Oh, you
a racetrack in Arizona, abandoned since 1960s. Okay?
Oh,
Matter of fact, they built freeways to them. They stopped them.
I'm surprised he's never run into a dog, man.
Well, anyway, so I get in this place. I got to go with all these barbed wire fences. I barely fit. I was skinnier. I fit in there. And then I get into the racetrack. They made a movie at this place where they blew all the glass out in some movie. But anyways, I'm in there and I'm walking. There's like 3 inches of fluff. What is that?
Is it mold?
No, I look up at the ceiling. I'm like, oh my God, millions of pigeons. I was walking.
Oh, you're walking through pigeon crap.
No, it was so old and dry that it was just aerosolizing. And listen
That's
to
very dangerous.
And listen to
That's very dangerous.
The minute I saw
I've
that,
worked around pigeon
I'm like,
crap
oh my
before.
God, where's my mask? It's too late. So it's coming up all over. Dude,
you run out of there?
5 minutes.
You got sick.
Within 5 minutes, I felt something go ba-ding in my lung. I felt it in 5 minutes, like it started growing in there. By that night, I was at the hotel room. My lung was hurting. By the next morning, I was sick as a dog. And when I came back to Cleveland, like a week or two later, the doctor says, "Oh, you have pneumonia." And I'm like, "No, I have histoplasmosis." Doctors will never believe what you tell them.
Yeah,
the doctors should listen to their patients.
Right.
Okay. So he treated me for pneumonia. He didn't want to hear this stuff. And I'll tell you what, ever since then, my lungs still messed up. So it damaged the lung. And like going back to what you're talking about, your buddy, he may already have a damaged lung. So he's more susceptible to humidity, to temperatures, to aspergillosis or aspergillus.
Well, I always pronounce it aspergillus, thinking that maybe the G is quiet. It's a French term.
Aspergillus, Aspergillus fumigatus, Aspergillus niger. There's like 70 types. Okay?
Yes.
And then penicillium is penicillium. And you know what? When you do mold testing, they don't even know what it is. They say Aspergillus penicillium because they're the same size. But
okay, so like then I was talking to my foreman, was a really good guy when I was working downtown, and he said that he's a 4th stage lung cancer
mold report
survivor.
You got a mold report. I can see it from here, and I'm blind.
No, this is toxic metals.
Oh,
all right. So he
always asked me about this the other day. So
let me finish this. So he told me, that he survived cancer. So I started telling him. I said, there's this guy named Doug Kaufman. He does the. I've been listening to him. I haven't listened to him in years, but years ago, about 18 years ago, I would listen to him when he first started out, and he was always talking about how fungus is a major cause of cancer. It's overlooked all the time. It's fed by sugar, and quit eating the high processed carb diet and high processed foods, and starving sugar. And I said, maybe you might want to try that. He says, you know what one of the problems with my lungs are? I said, no. He goes, aspergillus.
Yeah.
Well, his lungs are already screwed up.
Aspergillus is everywhere.
Yeah.
So mold.
Is that what they call farmer's lung? What is farmer's lung? I've heard that's bad too.
Yeah,
but I don't know if that's aspergillus.
Yeah, there's aspergillus. Aspergillosis is what they call it. But when you get aspergillosis, you could die. I mean, that's where your lung just it's in there growing.
It's really cool. I remember
it loves the space.
One website had pictures of microscopic pictures with certain light on it on all these different molds, and they look totally nuts under a microscope. They're very geometrical and very interesting looking. Yeah. Man. So the molds really aren't that big of a deal as long as you get rid of mold.
The dust.
Get rid of moisture.
Like dust is a big deal. Mold is a big deal. Electromagnetics.
Yeah, but the moisture is a big deal. The mold is a big deal in most cases because of moisture.
Yeah, fix the moisture problem.
Yeah,
but there's people. Everyone wants a black box. Black boxes. The airplane goes down, they find a black box, and they say,
the answers.
That's what caused it. Somebody farted in the fan. Right? That's what caused it. Well, there's no black box. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things. Now you're not gonna be able to solve all your problems but you can look at all these things that you're doing and just eliminate a few, and maybe it helps. Okay. you're never going to find a black box because there isn't one.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're allergic to mold, why are you allergic to mold? If you got peanut allergies, why are you allergic to peanut? What? Because you were predispositions because peanuts make you sick? No. What made you a peanut allergy is your immune system, is insulin resistance, is all kind of stuff. And so you got to don't look at a black, don't like people come on, find the mold, find out what's making me sick. They want me to like stick my hand on a wall and pull out. There it is. That's it. I got it.
Well, I know I've told you
It's
this.
a lot
I don't
of
know if I
things.
told you this, but years ago, when I was around, I was dating girls, they had cats, and within a few minutes of being in their apartment and being in their bed or being on their furniture, I couldn't breathe. It was like hay fever. It was horrible. And it would take about an hour or two after I left until my sinuses got better again. And then I just avoided cats for years. Then I got my fillings removed. And I went through heavy metal detox. Okay. And then now I'm around cats. It doesn't bother me anymore.
Yeah, it had a lot to do with your immune system.
Right. My immune system was being suppressed by the mercury.
So like I'll do inspections and my clients will start freaking out, either because there's plug-in air fresheners or they burn candles, they got cats. And they're like, we're going to tear out the carpets. And it's because their bodies aren't used to whatever that is. So a lot of times, I mean, you could still be pretty healthy and you just throw something at you, like think about it. What do they do to the Indians? When they came over,
the blankets with
we gave the blankets,
yeah.
Right? And we poisoned them, right? Because they were used to it. They didn't have an immune system built to it. People on ships would get sick and die because they weren't used to, wherever they were going to. So a lot of, you're designed to live here in Cleveland. But if you go to Alaska, something would happen to you different down there because maybe your body's not used to something.
Right. My biome, I have a Cleveland biome in my body.
Yeah, that's it. And you're okay with that.
Right.
What about the cat? Maybe you're not used to the cats,
Right.
And your immune system is down, and why is it down?
We're still shitting on cats.
I know. It's the anti-cat episode.
We should have started the whole cat thing.
Yeah.
All right.
But, well, because we're running on, we've almost been kicking cats for like an hour. I wanted to talk about, there was another section in your book on like other things we could do to get healthier and stuff, but also something that lines up with Neil's side gig and expertise as well. Is
water.
Water. It's like the human body's what, 60%?
Yeah, 60%.
About
60%. Like that.
60% of your body. Just
Charmaine would say it's lymph fluid.
Lymph fluid.
You gotta drink water too.
Fluid.
So
Not all. But it's like what men have to drink like they
He
say
just said
supposedly,
16
like 16 cups.
Come on,
Water. I
dude.
know. I'm so behind on that. I need to start doing that though.
I was urinating every hour
I'm
because
sitting there drinking energy
my
drinks,
bladder was
wondering
so polluted.
why I'm
Water,
running on fumes when I should be drinking 16 cups of water.
My bladder was so full of water.
And
Women
are
are supposed to have like 12,
something like that. Yeah,
12 cups of
I think
water.
you're right. Yeah,
a day. But
a
anyway,
day. This is a day.
and that's we're talking about filtering out the toxins in our home, but for
Yeah.
our home is actually our body. Our real
Yeah.
home, is our body, and we gotta purify that. So what's the best ways to?
I'm going to do what he did in my house. Okay.
Okay.
And it's kind of weird because I told Neil, I go, hey Neil, I need this, and he goes, okay, we'll do this. So I have 3 types of water. I have seawater, which I use for cleaning dishes, and that's got the fluoride and
Chlorine.
medicated water.
Uh-huh.
Right. And then he did this distilling. We'll explain to it. But the reason I wanted the triple distilled water was because it takes everything out of it. Okay. But the problem is there's no more nutrients in it. So it's like it's not really good for most people. You got to add minerals to it.
Yeah.
But for me, I have gout. So a lot of times when I have gout attack, I don't add minerals to it. I just drink that water because
it's easier on the kidneys and liver.
No, but it's got nothing in it, so it wants to grab the poisons. Just like I don't use underarm deodorant because that's stupid. Why you want the poison to stay in your body? So I use that water without anything in it for gout, and then if I want to drink it, like I'm doing for normal drink, I have these minerals I buy. There's like
the trace mineral drops from Trace Minerals.
Yeah, so you told me where to buy them.
Yeah, I was actually in contact with those guys because I've been talking to a woman out in Toledo, and she's
Get a sponsorship for today's book.
She is sold on. It's just that everybody goes through these phases of what what water they think they should be drinking. A lot of it could be due to marketing. A lot of it could be due to what they're reading.
That big push is that hydrogen water.
Yeah, and they all of them have very quality, good claims. You know, they all have good claims. You know, like I watched a video on the hydrogen water the other day, and it was very interesting. I'm thinking of getting one of those, but even the hydrogen water things, it still needs clean water. You don't want to put tap water in it, but.
I got one of those little things.
You know, I
occasionally
have you used it? How do you feel after?
I mean, I probably I don't have 16 cups of it, which probably you know, but like you said, you know, I go to
the super pure
from the super pure.
Yeah,
and I only use that, and then I bubble it up, and you know, I mean, I feel bad. I haven't done it in a while, and that probably would help, especially in the wintertime.
Well, you know, I've been shopping at Whole Foods more because I've been trying to do more fasting and eating better foods.
Yeah,
fermented food. So I've been going there a lot more. But they have a dispenser in there, and it offers all three of the pure waters, and those are distilled, deionized, and reverse osmosis. And the first, you know, it says reverse osmosis. You can drink. See, if you start doing research, when you start coming across deionization, most of the research out there says, you shouldn't really be drinking this. It's too pure. Blah 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 blah. But when you get down to distilled and RO and those type waters, you're almost kind of splitting hairs in a sense. But you know, the body, you know, this is something I've been dealing with for years. I don't know, but but yeah, it says if you drink the deionized water because it helps with detoxification. This is on the dispensing unit. Yeah. But this woman out in Toledo, she is sold on just specifically distilled. Because I don't know her reasoning.
Because it's nothing in it.
Well, yeah, but she uses she says the trace minerals that me and you use are okay, but she says we should be using minerals with fulvic and something other minerals which are more organic. So and I was talking to the guy at Trace Minerals because I'm thinking of buying them by the case and, you know, offering them to new customers when they get my super pure deionization systems. But I got confused with his answer because, well, you know, they all start off as organic or inorganic and blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, are your minerals inorganic or are they organic? And I still really wasn't sure if I got a straight answer on it. But this woman out in Toledo says that the minerals that we're using are okay and that they're organic.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I mean they're minerals,
but they're not minerals. They're trace minerals.
But I mean, let's talk about the importance of why, regardless, people should put like one of your systems in their homes. You know, give a sale.
Well, first of all, the thing is like, you know, if you're into pure water, this is the thing. If you're into pure water and you live where, you know, along the Great Lakes, we're right on the cusp of the TDS, the purity of the water, the TDS. Purity of water is measured with TDS. So the TDS along the Great Lakes here, Lake Erie, is always around 130, 150. So, you know, it's still kind of cost effective to have a small or a medium or a large deionization tank to make the water absolutely pure. You know, it's been told to me that it's triple distilled. So the three pure waters are reverse osmosis, distillation, and deionization. And of the three, I believe that deionization is the purest. It'll take anything out of the water that has a charge. So the only thing deionization technically really isn't good at is plastics, where the RO is a little better with that, a lot better with that, because the RO actually you have a membrane that'll catch it up to a certain fineness of micron of particle. And so now you know with plastic you have to use a micron rated filter to get it. So
regardless, you need any drinking water in your home needs to be
filtered to some degree.
Now, for some reason, like Europe started this stuff a while ago, and like people buy this stuff thinking I'm just going to drink this water because it's good for me. They have no clue what they're getting. There's chlorine in it.
Listening audience is plastic
bottle. I mean, if it was a
water.
glass bottle, you know, and it was deionized or it was you know, filtered, whatever, okay, but people have the wrong sense of it, you know, and then they don't understand, like, well, I have well water, You know, that's good. I don't need. Yeah, you do.
Well, see, that's the whole thing too. People, in my opinion, my belief system is, and I'm hearing it more and more often. This is the funny thing because people go through these cycles. I've been doing the water now for 30 years. So when I first got into water, the big thing was pure water, distilled water, and then it moved to high alkaline water, and then it moved to now the hydrogen water, and now it's all the way back full tilt to the pure water. And people think that, well, I need mineral water because I need my minerals. No. The minerals come, it rains, the rocks in the soil are inorganic. Water, which is the greatest chelator on earth, is going to pull those minerals off of the rocks and dissolve the rocks into minerals small enough that the plants will uptake those in its cycle of life. And the plant then converts those inorganic minerals into organic minerals, and then we eat those plants, and that's where the fluvic, those are the minerals we should be eating. Mineral water is just going to harden you up, you know, like you look at the boiler, you know, the boilers and water heaters, they get scaled up. Distillers get scaled up. You have to clean out distillers. That's one good thing. Like, well, you know, why should I get it? If you're out on a well and you're not paying for money, you're not paying for the water, and you want pure water, then get a reverse osmosis. Reverse osmosis, they all leak water. All of them leak water. There's new ones coming out that use water as the pressure to force the water through the unit instead of air, and they're a lot more efficient. Distillation is going to generate heat. It's you need electricity, and then you have to clean these things out. Deionization, it's 1 for 1. 1 gallon of bad water, you're going to get 1 gallon of pure water, and it's instantaneous, and that's why I like it. It's just really efficient.
I think,
you know, if you want pure water on demand, and you live along the Great Lakes, and it's somewhere that I can serve, and if you're interested in getting ultra pure water, I don't think you can beat the super pures.
Yeah. Well,
how would people contact you if they're interested?
Go to my email is thewaterguy216@gmail.com. So it's THE water, WATER, guy, GUY 216@gmail.com, or call me 216-287-9509, or Custom Water Service on Facebook.
There you go.
And that's it. Yeah.
See, what he hooked me up with is I was a little more complicated client. Because I have different water for different things.
Yeah.
So like I have the water that I don't put anything. There's nothing
City
in
water.
For my, no.
I
have the city water
dishes,
too.
And then you got the ultra pure water.
No. I have the regular. I have the ionized water just to clear my body. Then I put the nutrients into it for drinking water. Then I have another water. I have 3 taps. The other water is high pH.
Yeah.
And the reason I use high pH, that's for cooking. So I'm one of these believers that high pH. I believe that acid causes a lot of our sicknesses, cancers, and things like that. So when I'm drinking my coffee, I'm using high pH water. When I'm cooking, potatoes, I'm using high pH water. So I use the high pH water for all my cooking and all my coffee. And when I make my tea, I use the high pH water. I make like gallons of tea at a time. I grow all my teas.
The mint.
Yeah, all of that. Yeah, I do mint. I do
you
lemon balm.
Want to help me with? He's trying to get me to take over his garden.
I have 4 gardens.
It's about the size of my backyard.
Just one of my gardens I don't want to do next year. I get too much going.
But I just don't know if I want to.
It's right around the corner from here.
It's close to you. It's close. We're about exactly the same difference.
I'd be interested. I think it'd be good therapeutically for me.
But he don't live in Cleveland.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It'll be my name and your name, and I'll eventually give it to you. But I have mint in there. I got blackberries.
Yeah,
but anyway,
we hook me up with some of the products.
And I have garlic going on in that garden. But so I believe
I've been needing to work on my gardening skills anyway, because eventually down the line, I mean, I know I'm older, but I still have the dream. I ain't letting go of it to have my own little, off
gardening. Gardening isn't so. People think,
but it's very therapeutic to get your hands in the soil.
It's not about saving money.
You're getting into the biome. You're building your biome. You're getting.
They offer these classes for veterans with PTSD now too. So it'd be like good.
And you're grounding out.
I got a guy I do jujitsu with. Shout out to the Garden Grappler. He's been helping me. Yeah, he helps me. He's been teaching me with my little container gardens out there. It's been very therapeutic, and grow your own food, man.
Yeah.
Stay healthy. One thing I wanted to say real quick too about your water systems. Like I ordered one of your water systems several years ago now. I went and did the whole house.
You got an early end press model.
Yeah, early end press model. I remember first time I took a shower, with that stuff. It felt like conditioner was already in my hair. The water just felt different coming on my body. It felt so good. So I got the whole house. We wash our hands with, the filtered water and stuff like that. And then you gave me the DI unit
tank for under the sink for
under
drinking.
the sink for drinking to add the minerals.
And all I did was give you a tank,
and like you
because
said,
you got your water free
I
filtered.
use it for making my coffee and my tea, and Are
you using trace minerals? I think you just said you were.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't been when I use it for my coffee. I probably should add trace minerals.
I do.
I leave it
because I French press my coffee.
I put it in the coffee machine in the water.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're supposed to do that, but I do it. I add trace minerals to the coffee.
Okay. All right. I probably.
But I don't know.
But I usually, I'll take the water from the DI, put it on the kettle, heat it up, and then I'll pour it into the French press with the grounds and stuff like that. But I should start adding the trace, you think, to that too? I mean, what when you heat it?
What I do is
to the trace.
I don't think it does anything to them.
Okay.
I don't think it's destroying anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or should I just wait and add the trace?
What I'll do is I'll fill up
I
make my coffee when I'm at home and I'm not working. I make my coffee by the cup, so I'll fill up a cup and I'll throw the drops in there. And
would drive me fuck nuts when we first got this system, because it's affordable, but it's still and I get this system and I'm telling my kids, I'm just like, look,
they didn't want to drink it.
Yeah. I'm like, all you got to do is add this. This is the best water ever.
No,
and they would buy cases of the plastic bottles. Finally, thankfully, now my girls got hip to the plastic. But what's my daughter do? She goes to Heinen's to get the glass ones. I'm just like, dude, you got water right? Refill.
It's the purest. All she got to do is add minerals. She's got Aquafina. Once you put the thing, it's Aquafina.
Keep the glass bottles and use them and refill them here.
Yeah, like I'll use this for about a week or two as a glass, just filling it up.
I've still got some saved up to take to what's his face at Anionic High.
Oh yeah,
if we ever make it back out there.
Yeah,
to recycle, like he was making his homemade kombucha or whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to add that part about, I think it's well worth getting, one of your systems, no matter the size of your place. I mean, I'm in a condo, so I didn't need the biggest one.
Right.
And mine still lasts all these years later,
Yeah.
So it's been several years with
me
and two daughters.
It depends on how, because if you have the tank I think you got, it only makes 300 gallons. Up to about 300 gallons. And then I have different size tanks. For more,
I got some big ass ones.
I think you got a 10-inch by 18-inch, or you got an 8 by 18. But I have people that'll go through the tank like yours, like 7 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know, but we would check the TDS and everything was still good.
They were drinking it. They were using it for this. They were using it for that. They were using it for teas, and then
mine's every year, right? For me, every 2
about
years.
a year, yeah. But if it's just one person drinking out of it, I mean. But
we had that one hiccup one time with that one tank.
I think I gave you a tank that I forgot to charge.
Yeah,
that's what. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes I'll forget to.
But then
I'll think it's a good tank, and it's not a good tank.
Right? Everybody be pulling your tanks.
Yeah.
No, it was.
You've seen online, like especially on Facebook, I get it all the time, and I think I've seen it on TV. The zero water pitcher. Mm-hmm. All that is a little deionization thing.
Oh, really?
But that thing's only going to make like.
Yeah, they sell those up at the
10 gallons. 10 gallons. It's not going to make them DI. And then I had a poor girl up in Michigan. She kept wanting to put a DI system on her house. I kept saying it's not cost effective, and you can't run hot water through it. You don't want to. And she ended up having somebody do it, and they did it wrong. She got a 20-inch filter of it, and it's going to be done in 100 gallons is going to go through it. It's going to be done. You're going to have to change it.
A question I had for both of you guys, and I'm just thinking out the box here because of all the talk. I always got to bring things into current conspiracies and shit like that. But there's been they've been dropping all these little signals like China's hacking into our infrastructure, our power grid and infrastructure and stuff like that. Should something like that happen, how would that affect us if it hits the water plants? Then how would
the pumps wouldn't pump it. You'd have to
so the filters
collect it from the rain or something.
So the filters are
like I have an emergency food reserve. When I was cleaning up my basement, we moved my emergency food reserve. We put it somewhere else, and in so doing, I found a knockoff Berkey that Jim Artress made. They're only like he's selling them for like $75, $100, but it's plastic. But it's a gravity fed thing, and it's like a Berkey.
Okay, yeah.
You know, so it's at least I got that.
Well,
but
I get my colonics that has a Berkey. We were talking about the other day.
The thing is with me is I'm my neighbor. I'm talking to one or two of my neighbors about prepping and everything, and it's like they already know. Like I'm the water guy
for the
yeah.
Yeah, but what about what would you have to offer?
I was going to say, okay, we're talking about China, right? So that's all about that fear. Oh, the boogeyman.
Yeah. I mean, it probably won't be China.
No, watch this.
Whatever.
Watch this.
If everything
what about if we're the boogeyman?
Exactly.
Now I'm going to give you a perfect example. They're telling us to worry about China and
or
Russia.
Yeah,
well, how about the poor people in Flint, Michigan? In Flint, Michigan, they switched the water supply to the river. They lead poisoned hundreds of thousands of people.
I heard a lot of what it was is that the pH was different, which leached out the lead,
also,
which changed the water. It changed the water pH, which allowed the lead to come out, or whatever.
And Legionnaires' disease.
Legionnaires, 18 people died of Legionnaires. You never heard about that?
But
that means they were either showering, drinking, it went down the wrong windpipe, or they caught a mist from somebody washing their car or a fountain or something.
But you know what? Yeah. They had that problem for 3 years,
right?
And they told the people, "Don't worry, just keep drinking the water."
And they should be on drinking a glass of water.
Now here's a new one. Okay, they don't. You're not going to find this stuff, but there's nuclear power plants in Illinois. There's been
all leak.
Well, there's
all the power plants leak.
We got 2 in Ohio.
Yeah, well, Davis-Besse's been particularly bad.
Well, that one's held together by super glue. But let's go back to Chicago. Chicago had 6 releases, millions of gallons of radioactive water got into the groundwater, in the storm lines, and in people's wells. You think that made the front news? No. And we have over 80 nuclear power plants. You don't think there's releases?
Oh, they're leaking. All of them are leaking. They're all old. They're all over 30, 40, 50 years old.
Well, I'm just saying what their narrative is of what is going to happen, because usually they tell you what's going to happen before they do it. Basically, I think to give. I guess it's part of their law or whatever.
You mean the whole metaphysical laws of good and evil? They got to give you notice.
They got to give you notice or whatever. So, all right, I'm just saying. And of course, they're saying China or Russia. But should the infrastructure get shut down? Should the electric grid?
Well, that means the pumps are not going to pump unless they have backup pumps.
What is a good way for us that are stuck in locations we're stuck in?
I would get some Berkey type filters. See, I'm lucky. I've got UV lamps sitting at the house that run on a 110 outlet. That would sterilize the water. If worse came to worse, I would collect my water, boil it, and then I would run it through a filter.
How would you boil
it? I would have to make a fire, I guess. If I couldn't boil it. If worse came to worse, I would try to get some type of power and
you could just dig
if I couldn't boil it, or if I had a generator, then I would plug up one of my UV lamps, and I would run the water very slowly. I would collect rainwater, and I would run it very slowly through a UV lamp, like maybe a quarter of a gallon, a half a gallon a minute, and I would think it would be okay.
There's these books, these end of the world prepper people, okay, with the bunkers. They got all these books how to get water, right? I mean, you get it from your gutters. You could dig a hole, put a piece of plastic in the condensation. I mean, you get it from the river. They tell you how to make a filtration from the river water, and so you have to understand this earth is all water. We're going to be fine,
just like us,
but not radioactive.
The moon's water.
We're in sync with the earth. We talked about last time we were together.
Tritium. I don't think you can remove tritium.
You can't drink radioactive water.
I think it's tritium.
Okay, well, that's water, right?
You don't have a filter system.
The cesium twins.
Cesium 134, beryllium. Yeah. I mean, you could have iodine 131. I mean, you want to go down through all the isotopes. There's hundreds of isotopes in a nuclear power plant. Great, especially like Fukushima. That was a meltdown. So the reactors melted down. That caused 134.
Nobody talks about that anymore.
Well, no, because we ate all that food. That
shit. But it's one of the most recent, East Palestine.
Yeah.
No one talks about that anymore either. That's here in our backyard.
Yeah, the cows or the animals were getting all deformed, and people were getting sick. But wait a minute, the biggest the biggest one were the fires from Canada.
Oh yeah.
They don't want to talk about what they did to us with that. Okay, they did not. They will not.
Yeah, we had days of fog here in Cleveland.
You wait till you see how many people have throat issues and throat cancers and from that. I mean,
Well, it already a friend of mine. Oh, that's right. A good close friend of mine who helped us with the music had throat cancer. And no, not Christopher. That did help us with. Yeah, you got it. Right yeah, I wonder if that was where Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Yeah,
it's bad.
I wonder if Pittsburgh is in relation to the water from East Palestine.
I don't know,
but anyway.
Everybody says it's going into the Ohio.
Yeah.
Well, they got a bunch of rivers going there. They're close to a bunch of nuclear power plants. Where's Beaver Valley? How close to Beaver Valley? There's what, is that downstream from Beaver Valley? I mean, you got to think about, so back to the water thing, we got to worry about water at home. What about our aquifers? They're all going down. Here's something nobody ever talks about: virtual water. Virtual water is? Virtual water is how much water it takes to make things. So watch this. We feed sheep, right? And the sheep takes 3,000 gallons of water, 30,000 gallons of water to make a sheep. Right. What do? Then we cut the sheep's wool. We put it on a ship. We send it to China. They only use 1 gallon of water and make T-shirts and send it back. We just shipped 30,000 gallons of water for that T-shirt you're wearing that came back from China. They're not telling you about virtual water. We are the biggest virtual water exporter.
Users, yeah.
We're exporting. No, we're getting our aquifers are diminishing, and then people down in California can't even have wineries. They can't grow grapes because they're not permitted, to pump water out of the ground. You got people in Colorado who are not allowed to use rainwater. This is all coming, dude.
Yeah.
It's all coming. So the water is huge, and it's mostly for control.
Yeah.
And they've been talking like they had the president of Nestle or whatever on about how like people think water is a human right or whatever, and because they want to sell it, we have to buy our water.
Well, Nestle has the biggest. They're the biggest bottled water. They've got about 70
I saw
brands.
that on some video where he was giving some sort of speech, laughing like it's not a human right.
Deer Park, Crystal Springs.
It's not your right to have water or whatever. It's like you got to. Yeah, they're just these people are. There's a lot coming down.
They're psychopaths.
Yeah, there's a lot coming down the pike. But I like to leave the people, before we get ready to wrap up, man, with some like hope or some like, just some options of what they can do to either prepare or, for their everyday health, other recommendations.
I think on my end, end would be get rid of cloth products, minimize the dust in your home. Okay.
Just to get rid of your furniture, get leather furniture.
Yeah, it's better. Things you can clean. Clean up more surface area, less surface area that can contain dust. Let's get HEPA vacuum cleaners. I think that we need to worry about, the dust in our homes. We need to worry about air in our house, oxygen in our house, keep windows open, things like that. And, we need to stay alive, right? I mean, the most important thing is waking up in the morning, as far as I think we talked about
quality sleep.
We talked about cats.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
20 minutes.
I don't know if we mentioned
they go to the park.
We haven't mentioned cats yet this episode.
They go good
Cats go
Chinese
They go to don't say that. They go to the park system. We got a lot of coyotes now, and then you got some water issues, and you got to filter your water. I mean, and
the thing is dehumidifiers. I did notice, that I talked to Roby's kid about a year ago, and I told him I was worried about the moisture. He said, "Get a dehumidifier." And that's when I started using that dehumidifier. But I did notice a spike in the electricity.
Oh yeah, $30 a month.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
Well, that's what it costs. That's what it's either going to be $30,000 for a waterproofing system or $30.
Now you told me on the way. You told me on the way over here that a lot of the waterproofing is shit. Is no good, right? I mean,
well, no,
basement waterproofing.
I'm writing a book, about waterproofing, how people get ripped off by waterproofing companies, and they'll snake people at sewer jet. They lie to you a lot, and they overcharge you for stuff. So waterproofing.
Whistleblower here.
Yeah, waterproofing. We'll get to that. But waterproofing is important. But you got to first figure out why is your basement leak. Like your basement, your problem's not that bad because you don't have mold growing everywhere down there. You got a little bit of moisture, and you've got stuff, and you're okay. You got a little bit of moisture coming in. Clean your gutters, fix your grading, snake your drains, run a dehumidifier. And guess what? You might be fine. $30 a month. That's what, $360 a year. In 10 years, that's only $3,000 in 10 years. Okay, in 20 years, that's $7,000. In 30 years, it's $10,000. A waterproofing system today will cost you $30,000.
Yeah.
So you're better off just dehumidifying it.
Right.
Now, maybe you got to paint the wall, maybe you got to dig a little bit, maybe you got to clean out a downspout, but you can manage it. Water management, manage your water leakage, you know, and you can save some money. I'm not a big fan of finishing basements in older homes with drywall because that's mold food.
Oh yeah, man.
You know,
That's
mold grows,
crazy.
and your basement doesn't even have to leak to be full of mold. I mean, you have high indoor humidity. You run a humidifier. Your basement's underground. You get what's called a dew point because it's colder. A dew point forms on a wall from the moisture in your house.
Get a lot of that in the summertime,
and then it grows on the back of the
Right.
drywall, and you got mold. So it doesn't
Right.
have to leak that mold in your house. You can create your own mold.
Yeah.
So you
Well, what should I do with those walls then? They're those thin terracotta brick walls.
I would simply make sure it's not lead, and I would treat the walls, you know, seal the paint, and then I would just run a dehumidifier, and then see when you get the efflorescence coming back through.
What's the efflorescence?
That's the white salts that come out and the moisture. And all of a sudden you go outside and look at your gutter. You probably find out your gutter had an ice dam. It's not properly sloped. I
think my gutters are clogged.
Well,
yeah,
you got to fix that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm getting the roof done, so I'm going to get all that done. Yeah.
Yeah. Manage the moisture.
Yeah.
Manage water. You know, this whole thing's about water.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah.
And cats.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, yeah, that was let's pitch Marco's book.
Yeah,
once
and
again.
another thing is too,
Cleveland
if you
Marko.
I found a lot going
Google
through my
Cleveland Marko.
basement. I found a lot of stuff.
Oh.
So I tell you what, I've got a 50-gallon a day Nelson RO. You probably buy it online for anywhere from like $200, $250. I'll install it for $300 here in the greater Cleveland area. I've got one of those sitting around. Got a bunch of used housings. You know, I'm coming across all sorts of stuff. You know what I mean?
Trying to organize your inventory.
Yeah, I can work out something. You know, instead of charging you $400 for 3 filters. End press?
Yeah.
No, I just get those. I get those if and when they're needed.
Yeah.
But yeah, the end press whole house system, like what you have, Bill. I mean, those are really nice, man. I mean, really nice. Very little of it. You never noticed a pressure drop.
No.
Bottom line is you got to filter your.
Yeah, and you've got basically and I'm not, but you actually have two filters. You've got a big polyethylene sediment filter, which I think is like 3 microns, and then I think you probably have like a 5-micron carbon block.
Ones.
Yeah, 2 big ones, and they're good for 240,000 gallons, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're huge.
That's
you
what
know,
I'm saying. I'd say you put them in.
That's a lot of water. I mean, I bet if we tested it now, how long have it been? It's 7-8 years now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I bet
don't
they're
remember
still taking the chlorine out.
I don't know if you wrote the date down that we installed. We'll have to look.
Well, remember, it was that was the first one
I
I ever did, and it was PVC, and we remember we had that leak. We had to come back and fix that leak,
but yeah, man. So,
and the prices could range on those anywhere. It depends on if you want me to install it. Depends if you want me to have it drop ship. If it depends if you want me to deliver it. If you're in the Cleveland or Toledo, wherever I'm going, I'll even deliver the thing for you. Anywhere from like $800 to $2,000 or more, depending if you want me to have it done. There's different filters. They've got the chloramine filters. They've got the 216-287-9509, and they've got the PFOS. PFOS is another it's been a huge topic now for like 3 or 5 years. It's growing. They're called the forever chemicals. And I think they come from like the manufacturing of the stuff Teflon. I think it's from Teflon and things like that.
Okay.
But now they've gotten more advanced. You know, the only system you could get was that PVC 1 1/4 inch connection underneath the tank.
Yeah.
But now they've got the Pioneer. It's got a purity lamp. It's got a purity light on it. Not purity. It's just it's a gallon meter basically. It's going to tell you when how many gallons have gone through. And the design is it's easy to maintain. And then and then they've got the Pioneer, which has got its own set of shut-off valves. Where yours is no problem, but the cheaper units are a little clunkier. The more expensive units are a little more sophisticated.
Yeah.
And they've done a lot more stuff with they've got this new shit out called Optimus that I'm thinking I'm going to help with. Be great with wells. It'll remove iron in well water up to 3 parts per million.
Wow.
That's huge,
dude. For a lot of people in rural areas that still have
so let's say if you have well problems and iron problems, you could probably put this that and then go into your softener. So man, give me a call. Give me a call.
Yeah. And then Marko, once again, Cleveland Marko, Google him for purchase his book, maybe read up on your, educate yourself. See if you're one of those DIY people, you know. And hey, you know, and get rid of your cat.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Hey, thanks for having us on again.
Yeah, man. Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure. Next time we'll go maybe get back on a lot of more of the government conspiracies.
Yeah.
But you know, and right now this was our infomercial.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
See ya.
Take care.
Yep.